Reason why many of you aren't winning in business the way you want to win is just because you're not excellent in business. And so we're going to talk today about some principles on how to become excellent in business because that's the prerequisite to ever having success and even more so sustainable success that you can multiply over time and get to where you want to go. Here's the best news though. You are in total control over everything we're going to share with you today. Everything that you have is everything that you need, but everything that you are is preventing you from everything that you want. So we're gonna help you become that better version so that you can have a better version of your business in your life. And to that end, what's up, my man P? We back, bro. It feel like we've been gone. Were we here last week?
We were, but it
It,
just
it feel like it's been 2 weeks for some reason, but
right,
yeah,
right. First
time
things
fly when
first.
you're having fun, I guess.
Yeah, that part, and then time out. First off, you got to re-say that quote that you just said because we're not just gonna brush past like you did. Just say that everything that you have is. I need to hear that one more time because that
Oh
was.
yeah, and I don't remember exactly what I said because I don't be listening to myself, but what I essentially said was everything that you are is responsible for everything that you have.
Mm,
So if you want more, you have to become more. People think oftentimes if I want more, I got to do more, but you do more right now. Some people work in two jobs and still broke, right? So working more don't necessarily guarantee that you'll have more. Working more guarantees that you'll be tired more.
mm,
It's the only thing it guarantees. Working harder on the wrong thing just make you tired. So we talking about working higher versus harder. We talking about becoming the type of person that can do things at a higher level so that you can make money at a higher level and you can serve people at a higher level. And so, I just want to be able to talk through what the tangible, practical steps are in that, right? It's a conversation most don't want to have, but this ain't for most. This for people that want to be a part of the fantastic few. This for the people that want to be part of the one percenters, right? I haven't looked at studies recently, but a year ago, to become what we call a one percenter in this country meant you made like $460,000 a year,
mm,
right? That ain't a whole lot of money. Now I'm not poo pooing on it. I'm happy to have it, right?
right.
But what I'm saying is that more people could be in that category if they would listen to this message today, grab hold to it, and stop looking for get rich quick schemes. Stop looking for environments where I put in a little and I get out a lot. This ain't for you, right? You might as well just send this to somebody that it is for. But for those of you that this conversation is for, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and make sure that we push this thing out into the algorithm. As always, put your questions in the chat as you guys are coming in, and we will make sure to answer them as we get through the conversation.
Yes, sir. Man, you ready to get to it?
I am.
Yes,
I
sir.
am.
So first things first. I want to start with this. How do you personally measure when you've done something excellent?
So here's what's interesting.
But before you answer, I'll set the stage clear again.
Okay. All right.
He's already talking about how to be excellent without saying this is how you're being excellent. I want to state that before he start talking because he's already talking about it before he mentions what he's talking about. So before you answer, I just had to lay that foundation. Now you can go.
Yeah. Yeah. That's important. Um, so here's what I know to be true. I control no outcomes. I don't. I could get up every day and be like, I gotta go make six figures a day, right? I could say that, and I could mean it with every fiber of my being, but none of that guarantees that I'm gonna make six figures today. None of it does. But here's what I do know: I can get up and I can perform certain tasks that will put me in position to make six figures in a day. So how I measure excellence is not predicated on the outcome. It's totally predicated on the input. Did I prepare myself for the thing I said I wanted? Did I sow seed in that environment to even give myself an opportunity to harvest what I wanted? And did I do everything that I could possibly do to make manifest that outcome? Whether I get the outcome or not, I can't. If you go through life and your definition of success is hinged upon the outcomes that exist, you probably gonna be miserable most of the time. Ask me how I know.
Mm.
Right? What I'm telling you guys is a newfound revelation in previous years. This ain't. I used to think like, oh, if we ain't hit $1 million, it was a bad year, right? Until I realized, well, yes, I got some influence over whether or not that happens, but that can't be the yardstick by which I measure whether or not I was successful. The yardstick by which I measured was I successful was, did we have a good marketing plan? Did we create conversion conversations in our content daily? Did we generate enough leads to even be in a position to have $1 million year? Because if I'm not generating enough leads, I don't even have enough people to sell to. So that thought is just is lucid. If for me to think I'm gonna have $1 million year, but I don't even know how to measure the amount of leads I bring every month, I'm a fool. I'm really out here on wishing and hoping, which is how most people run their businesses. I want to be a six-figure. Okay, how many people do you need to close in order to do that? Okay, I need to close 20 people this year. Okay, how many leads do you need to bring in every day, every week, every month in order to even have 20 people to sell to? Okay, how do you generate leads? So you're never going to get there. It's just babble. It's conversation it's empty conversation without any kind of forecasting skill behind what it is that you say you want to do. Which is how 90% of people operating out here, bro. Seriously. And so this is why they constantly find themselves in a state of, feeling stuck and depressed and all the things, is because they're not measuring the inputs that can get them the outcome. They're only striving for the outcome without any type of understanding on how to make the inputs create the outcome.
That's good, and you touched on it a little bit, but I want you to dig a little deeper about the danger of just being outcome oriented. If you could touch on that a little bit more.
Yeah, it's so here's the thing. We can't do God's part, and he won't do our part. His part is the outcomes. Ask anything in my name and it shall be given unto you, right? His job is the outcomes. Even in that, Jesus saying, ask anything in my name and it shall be given unto you. Just think about that. Jesus saying, you got to do the asking. Your job is always the input. My job is the outcome. Right? So when we start being outcome driven, then we trying to do God's job. If everything is perfect in his time and every good and perfect gift comes from him, and to everything that there's a season, and I could go on and on and on and on. All of the references of when we have harvest in our life is predicated on his timing. So then that means that our success is always predicated on our inputs. Did we give God? I'm gonna tell you in real time, right? I wasn't even gonna say this. So right before I came on here, right? So we have a yacht mastermind coming up in Miami on the 21st. Okay.
Right.
There was a lady who was slated to come, who messaged us on, I don't know what today is.
Today's Thursday.
Today Thursday. So she messaged us on Tuesday, saying that she wasn't gonna be able to make it. Okay. Yesterday, we sent out an email letting everybody know it's one spot open, but you got to be able to get to Miami next Thursday. And if not, don't even apply, right? Before we sent that message, though, this lady sent me a DM. And she was like, somebody that we had talked to weeks ago. Unbeknownst to her that all this had happened, that somebody had fell out, all the things. And so she was just like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm supposed to be there. She was like, I'm still trying to figure some stuff out, but I'm just believing God that I'm supposed to be there. I'll say, okay. You know what I mean? Praise God. Go do your thing. I think nothing of it. Literally 10 minutes before I got on here, she sends me a message that she booked her flight and her hotel and said, send me the invoice. I'm still trying to figure out some things, but I'm just believing God. Bro, did you hear what I just said?
That's insane.
What did she do? The inputs.
Mm.
If I don't have a flight, I can't get to Miami. If I don't have a hotel, I got nowhere to stay. They already got the yacht. That's figured out. They already got the podcast for me. That's figured out. All I got to figure out is these last little bit of logistics and this money. And I'm believing God is going to send me the money the way I want it sent. So I'm going to book everything. She's doing the inputs. He got total control over the outcome.
That's
People
good.
ain't ready for that conversation though, bro.
That's
You
good.
know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
people not ready for that.
That's
I
good.
had a guy, I told this story on the challenge recently. I had a guy in 2019. We had an event in Detroit. He came from the East Coast, somewhere like Maryland or something like that, I think it was. Unbeknownst to me, he came there and didn't even have a place to stay. He didn't even have a hotel. He came out there on his last, didn't even have a hotel. My admin tells me like later in the day on day one, she was like, you know, so and so. He mentioned I overheard him talking to somebody about sleeping in the lobby. It's like sleeping in the lobby. She was like, yeah, he said he spent everything he had to be here. Da, da, da. I said, no, we can't do that. I said, quietly go get him a room. Right? But he put himself in the environment for God to then make the provision.
Right.
You see what I'm saying, bro? Like the problem with being outcome driven is that's control, that's entitlement, and it is the opposite. It is the antithesis of faith. When I'm outcome oriented, I'm trying to control the outcome, and I'm trying to tell God that I'm in control of His part.
Right.
And I can't never do His part, and He won't never do mine.
That's good. And I actually want to get to this question by Godly Trading. He said, how do you avoid being overwhelmed by the details as you focus on your input? Whew, do I got a lot to say?
That's a really good question right there, buddy.
That's good.
Really good question. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. The way that you avoid being overwhelmed with the details while you focus on your input is by getting clear about what the input is. I don't get mad at me. Okay? I promise you I mean well.
Man.
But it's getting focused on what the actual input is. A lot of time what happens is we get caught up in all the minutia. And that ain't the input. The input is what is my practical next step. The lady wasn't trying to figure out where the money was coming from and what card it would be on and what did she do? She booked her flight. She can't get to Miami without one. She booked her hotel. She gotta have somewhere to stay when she get there. Now I'm sure she got 1,000 other thoughts that's swirling around, but the next practical input was making sure that she could get there, that she could get there on time before that yacht leave Friday morning, and that she had somewhere to stay. By the way, she talked about she had just gotten over having some type of flu. She had dealt with 2 deaths in her family. She got all kind of noise competing. But she was clear about what the next step in that input is. So what happens is this. We go to ChatGPT. Let's just say we're trying to build out, let's just say we're trying to build out a sales script. Okay. And we go to ChatGPT, we say, hey, I want you to help me develop a sales script. For anybody that's been using AI for any extended period of time, you probably realize pretty quickly that that thing will wear you out if you don't tell it to stop.
It ain't stopping.
Listen to me, okay? That thing will have you over there in a full Nelson. You know what I mean? Trying to get out. It's like, okay, that's it for today. Are you sure? Because before you go, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It has no chill, as the kids will say, right? Well, because of that, you will get information overload from it
That's
because it
good.
got no chill.
That's good.
So after you get the sales script, it's gonna say, you know what? What about this detail? Oh yeah, that'd be great. You know what? What about that detail? Oh, that'd be great. What about can I do this? That'd be great also. Everything would be great because it's better than what you got. But now you got this whole comprehensive thing of full of knowledge and information and strategy and all the things. Which one do you do next?
Mm.
That's the input. Which one do I do next? I got all of these options of what I could do next. I have to be able to discern and have enough wisdom of which one do I do next.
That's good. That's real good. If you don't mind, I want to just touch
That's how
on.
you get out of the details and
Yeah,
focus on what your next input is.
100%.
You got to have input on what your next input is. Hello? You got to have input on your input. That's why there's a distinct difference between taking risk and gambling. A lot of y'all get up every day and gamble in business. Gambling is random, it's unorganized, it's emotionally driven, and it lacks strategy.
Mm.
You get up every day and run a thing you call a business, but you gambling. Taking risk is being well informed, educated, guided, assisted, wisdom, and faith driven. So we get up every day and say we take risks, but we really just get up every day and gamble. If I take risk, I know what my next input is. Because oftentimes I have the wisdom and I have the guidance with me to tell me what it is. The it's a risk because I don't know the outcome. But I'm not gambling because I know the strategic next step. You got to have input for your input.
My goodness. That's good, B. And I also
I
wanted
mean,
to.
is that too real?
Hey,
Y'all want me to make something else
hey,
up? I
listen.
could do that,
Don't
maybe.
listen. We don't want no cotton candy over here. Okay, we had enough of that. We had enough of that. And to even add on to your point, and to answer just a little bit of Godly Trading's question, one thing that I realized about being overly focused on details is that you never stop. When you are focused on details, you never stop paying attention to the details. And I'll use me as an example, as being a mentee under Brian. Brian is giving me clear steps, clear steps. Like, this is what you need to do. This is this. This is that. This is this. Get clear on these things, right? And as I'm doing it, right, I'm trying to do the business. I'm trying to do all these things, and I'm focused so much on the systems and how I'm saying something, and this, and that. And God's like, okay, so like, how are you going to fund the business? Simple. That was the next step. But I'm like, oh no, like I need a better camera. I need this. I need that. I'm talking about equipment that I need. No funds. He's like, okay, you know what you need to get you there, but you don't really know the input to get you there. So I'm trying to do these little things and hoping that no, like, and one thing that I realized is that the details were distancing me from from my destination. Every time I'm focused on the details, it's just getting me further away and further away, because there's always going to be another detail to fix. Always. There will never not be a detail that you can fix. So one way that I avoid it is like he said, like I'm now clear on the input that I need, that next practical step, that next thing to do. Because if you keep trying to focus on the details and you think that's your input, you will never get to where you want to go. I'll be the first person to tell you, I didn't focus on 1,000 details, whether it be in Bible study, whether it be in my own life. I'm like, okay, I didn't underline with this color. I'm gonna highlight it with this color. I'm gonna do that. So I'm more focused on the details and getting closer to the creator. So now my Bible study just becomes a detailed oriented thing,
My
like, oh, I didn't check
goodness.
this off and I didn't study this word and I didn't do this. And what if this is that? And all I'm doing is overwhelming my mind with details. And God is like, you are getting further and further away from me because now you're just performing. So your details then become performance, and then your performance isn't the input that you want, and then you're mad about the outcome. But it all started because you're so focused on the details. If there was one thing that I would tell everybody right now is to not focus on the details, because it was me focusing on how I write this and how I highlight this that made me further away from the Lord.
My goodness.
I got so stuck in trying to be so detailed for the Lord that I was missing the Lord himself. I was literally Martha. I was doing everything in the kitchen. I'm moving everything here and there. And then I'm like, God, why aren't they doing what I'm doing? And he's like, because what they're getting is better than everything you're doing right now. They're listening to me. That's the most practical thing. Jesus was in the house. And I'm sitting here trying to move this and move that and move this and move that. That's why you don't get overwhelmed with the details, because you will miss him every single time. That's literally what the story of Mary and Martha is. She kept focusing on the details and she was missing Jesus. Like, so if there's one thing that I'll tell you, that is that, because we focusing on those details, you just end up, you fall into that thin line of just becoming you fall into that thin line of just falling into performative spirituality. That's all it turns into. So then you're performing in your spiritual life, you're performing in business, you start performing in a relationship because you're so focused on the details, and then you never get to where you want to go. I'll be the first person to tell you to not focus on the details. It was when I stopped focusing on the details that overthinking ended in my life, that fear ended in my life, that anxiety ended in my life. Because sometimes it really don't even be fear about the big things. It be fear about those little things. Let's talk about it. It's just an accumulation of little things that you're fearing over and over and over again. Like, how am I going to get this? And how am I going to get that? It's like, okay, like you said, she booked the flight, she got the hotel. That's finished. But if she was like, okay, so how much money do I need to get? And what if Brian doesn't let me get in? And what if she's worried about all the wrong things? If she does that, she's worried about all the wrong things. So that's what I got to say about that.
Bro,
So
that's nutty.
I digress.
Man, that's good, bro. So look, to dovetail off of what you said, right? I do have one slight distinction that I want to make about details,
For sure.
because I believe God is in the details. We oftentimes say the devil is in the details, right? That's a societal colloquialism that's that's false. God is in the details. He showed us that all through the Old Testament, and all the measurements and the cubic this and the yards of this, right? We don't need to focus on any other details but the details of the execution.
It's good.
To your point, she booked the flight. That's a detail of execution,
Right.
right? So it's important that we only focus on the details that move us forward. So as an example, I was coaching one of our clients. We were doing some sales training, and she was looking at her offer, and she was like, the offer was super robust, okay, but she was looking at it and she was like, I need like a sales page. Or I said, why you need all that? I said, just put it into a PDF, put some color on it. I don't know how to do all that, but I mean, like something like that. She was like, you think so? I said, ma'am, I've sold $55,000 offers from a Google Doc, like a Word document with like 7 bullet points. It don't matter the sales page, the high gloss this, the what's the details of the execution? What's the details of the outcome for that person? What's the details for their payoff? I don't even need this. That was there for them. I don't even need that because I know what the outcome is for them. I'm only focused on details of execution, not how pretty the font was and did I use italic here and underline there. And people be getting ready to get ready, bro.
Tell me about it.
Getting
Please.
ready to getting ready to get ready. It's activity versus productivity. 90% of people spend their day every day with activity.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I met with so and so and we had coffee and then I let somebody pick my brain, whatever that means. And then I had I jumped in this cohort with these other people and yeah, we did a deep dive mastermind together and then we made some connections and then we gon' huh? Oh, you thought that was productive. Okay. How did that get you closer to your goal? Oh, you didn't have a goal. Now I see the problem. So you get up every day and do the things that society has deemed as being like business, but you ain't doing no business. You're doing things that naturally feel comfortable to you instead of the uncomfortable things that's actually going to put points on the board in your business. You're going to get up and create 7 more ebooks and you don't know how to promote and market none of them. So how you ever going to sell them? It's easy to go create something.
Right.
I'm an author now. It says who? Nobody read it. Bro, I'm not being like seriously. We gotta
Yeah.
we gotta be very clear about what we do every day. We start this conversation off talking about what?
Excellence.
Excellence in business. That's what we've been talking about the whole time.
Right.
I designed this today. Awesome. Who's gonna see it? How they're gonna see it? Like I'm not attempting to pick on y'all. I'm attempting for scales to fall off your eyes so that you can actually go out and have what you want in this thing called life and business.
Right.
When the last time you got up and did an evaluation on yourself and said, these are the areas by which I lack. These are the
Mm.
areas by which I have gaps. These are the areas that I continue to stumble in week after week, month after month. I sell one person and then I don't know where my next sale coming from. I sell 2 people, I don't know where my next sale coming from. That ain't gonna fix itself on its own, just so you know. You have a fundamental breakage in your business that you have to fix. You have a lead generation problem. Or I talk to 5 people a week, I close 1 a month. That ain't gonna fix itself. It ain't all the lead's fault.
Right.
You have a breakdown in your sales process. But instead of us facing those realities and doing something about it, we just keep trying to get by and tell ourselves that one day we'll get the help. Soon as I make XYZ, I'm gonna go get some help. You ain't gonna make XYZ till you get some help.
Right.
Everybody think I'm gonna go make the money and then I'm gonna go get the help. In what world does that make sense? Now that may make you feel more comfortable because again, now I think I'm controlling the outcome. I don't have to book the flight and the hotel and don't know where the rest coming from.
Right.
If I'm gonna wait until I do XYZ to then get help with XYZ, what need would I have for faith? I'm in control, I'm in control, I'm in control. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, by the time you get ready to get ready, you ain't gonna have no business no more. and you're gonna find yourself back in somebody's uniform telling you what to do every day.
Mm.
It's so interesting to me. Most people in this country specifically would take the time to go to college. Watch this. I'm going to leverage money to pay an institution to teach me stuff that will hopefully get me a job. Not guaranteed, not guaranteed what salary I'm going to have. No, I'm going to pay an institution to teach me some stuff to hopefully get me a job. Hopefully. I'm going to go hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, hopefully to get a job. When you can walk right in off the street and get a job. And they're going to train you anyway because that's what they do with everybody, degree or not, first 2 weeks, right?
Right.
Did you get training when you just went and got your job? They're going to do that to anybody. But then I'm going to start a business and I'm going to say, I'm going to go make the money and then I'm going to get the help. How does that make any logical sense? It's by far the dumbest thing I could ever think of. I'm going to borrow money to pay an institution to teach me how to do some stuff that I'm probably never going to use to then hopefully get a job where somebody is going to limit the amount of money that they're willing to pay me. But then I'm going to start a business because I'm so brilliant. And then after I go have success, I'll then pay to get the help I need. How does that make logical sense, bro? It doesn't.
At all.
It's the dumbest thing that I hear on a daily basis. Yeah, I'm just gonna go do this and then, I'm gonna circle back. You ain't gonna circle back. It's over with. Ask me how I know. Because for those that win, have sat at the feet of others who've already won.
That's so good.
Everybody else just keep going to create free Facebook groups and I'm gonna start a school community and I don't know why these people ain't converting. I be in here every day talking to them. I be meeting with them every week. I be giving them all this information. But then when I make an offer, they don't buy that because you lack the skill to convert them. That's why. And then you and your self-righteous attitude, you upset at them like they doing something wrong because you pouring out. They ain't never tell you to do that. They signed up for your free group. And because you lack the skill and the wisdom to take them through a psychological sales process to prepare them for when you make an offer, you get mad at them because you feel like you going all out for everybody. Watch this. You going out for everybody but yourself. Because if you was going all out for you, you would have started way upstream and made sure that you were prepared to make sure that you can get the outcome for them and you. But when you operate on ignorance, it quickly turns into anger. You mad at everybody else but yourself. You should be the only person you mad at. Them people ain't did nothing wrong.
Mm. So good. And it's funny because there's a common theme that you were just referencing as we're talking about excellence and taking risk. Last week, and it's so funny how God does this. Last week I was studying, I'm in Proverbs right now, studying the book of Proverbs because I know I need wisdom in this season to steward it well, to get to my next level. I know I need wisdom, and I know I need wisdom for the rest of my life. But I was studying, I was studying Proverbs 1:7, which is the fear of the Lord. He was like, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and discipline. And I was like, okay. I was like, so I got to get wisdom. So then he brought me to Proverbs 4:7. It was like, the beginning of wisdom is this, get wisdom. And then the next verse is what tore me up. It says, though it may cost all that you have, get understanding. So everything you want to understand is going to cost you everything.
My God.
That's what wrecked me. So I'm like, okay, not only is taking up my cross costing me everything, understanding everything I want to understand about the Bible, about being excellent, about my everyday, about whatever it is, it's going to cost you everything. And that is a fact people do not want to. That's if we're being honest, nobody wants to do that. They're like, listen, me giving my life to Christ was already me giving everything. I'm life is life in. Now I gotta give up everything to get understanding. Yeah, all right. But it's so funny because now when nobody's where they want to get to, where nobody's where they want to be, guess what they're gonna go do? They're gonna go get understanding. We idolizing the pastor, we idolizing the people that are successful. Guess what they got? Understanding. But it cost them everything. What you just said is understanding is going to cost you everything. If you want to understand how to be excellent in business, it's going to cost you everything. If you want to take a risk, it's going to cost you everything. But we don't want it to cost us everything. And to tie that into Godly Trading's question, he was like, everything on his to-do list or their to-do list is competing for number one. How do you overcome that? By understanding who is number one. That's it. That's it. It says commit your works and your plans to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established. So all the details you're thinking will be established as you commit your plans to the Lord. But guess what that costs you? Everything. If there's one thing I realized in this season is everything I want to understand is going to cost me everything right now. Time. That is the number one thing we all have. And we all we immediately wake up with premeditated time frame. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this in this time, that in that time. Okay, go ask God whatever you want to understand. I promise you, all the time you thought you had laid out is out the window. It's out the window. The number one thing that I realized in this season that has changed is everything. Because I'm like, I want to understand more. I want to be excellent. I want to be great. Everything changed as a result of that. Not just one thing. Who I'm listening to changes. Who I'm hanging around changes. What I'm talking about changes. What I'm eating changes. Everything changes. But I don't think everybody is ready for everything changing. Because it says, though it may cost all you have. So he's telling you it's going to cost everything. But I don't think people they don't want it to cost everything. They want it to cost something. But everything? No. No.
Man, you just said a whole mouthful, bro. You just said a whole mouthful. So I'm in like 3. I'm in at least 3 programs right now, maybe 4. 1, 2. No, I'm in 3. I'm in 3 programs right now. And every day I got daily learning scheduled on my calendar, as you know, right? And what you just said was so rich because not only is it costing me financially, it costs me my time every day that I can be doing other mindless activities, but my free time is spent learning. And so the thing that's scary to me is that I know if I didn't take that intentional time to learn, that I couldn't just hop on this live and be fruitful from week to week. With no notes, with no understanding of what you're gonna ask me, with no understanding what's gonna come and out. If I wasn't intentionally learning something new daily, by the way, strategically learning something new daily. I want to be clear about that. Not just randomly learning stuff every day. Based on what my business is, based on the people I've been called to serve, based on my lot in life, I'm strategically learning things that help that ecosystem every day. Right? For those that aren't and expecting for God to keep blessing them, if you understand that he's a businessman and he expects a return on his investment, then why would he ever give you more? What are you showing him to make him believe that you're going to be a good steward over him giving you more, that he can get a return on his investment?
Right.
When you barely getting a return on your own investment. Again, when you look at the parable of the talents, to one he gave 5, the one he gave 2, the one he gave 1. The one that had 5 doubled it to 10. Right? Well done, good and faithful servant. Here's more. He gave them more after they operated in the principle. To one he gave 2, doubled it. Well done, good and faithful servant. Here's more. To one he gave 1, scarcity minded, didn't double it, didn't even invest it, buried it, was scared, or I'm gonna keep it safe, which is what we do. We look at our account, we be like, nah, I'm gonna hold on to this because I ain't really right. That's what she did. She took the one. She say, no, I only got one. I ain't about to fool around, mess this up. He say, get away from me, you wicked, unruly servant. He takes the one from her. Sorry, ladies, if ladies watch. In my mind, the conversation just let me to believe. Okay, don't worry. Details. That detail don't matter. Okay, this is the detail that matters. He took the one from the one that had the one and gave it to the one who had the 10. Why would he take the one from the one who had the least and give it to the one who already had the most? Why? That almost seems unfair. But it's not unfair because he's a God that expects a return on his investment. And he's only going to continue to bless the ones with more who have exemplified the ability to be able to go out and get him a return on his investment.
It's good.
So playing scared, playing small, playing scarcity minded is not justification for him to give you more. It's actually quite the opposite. Because what you're saying is that I trust more in what I see than the potential of what I don't see. Did y'all just hear what I just said?
Say it again.
When you don't take educated risk to put yourself in a better situation, what you're telling God is that I trust more in what I see than the potential of what I don't see. So I'm gonna make my move today based off a limitation that I deem myself to have, as opposed to operating in God's principle and seeking the potential outcome that's far greater than my current situation. That's why you're stuck. That's why you're stuck. If you think that every level up in your life will be as a result of you already being in position for that level up, how could God ever get credit for that? Just think about what I'm saying for a second. If bro, listen to me. If I took that posture 10 years ago, when I paid for my first mentor, I didn't have the 40,000. I didn't have the other 20 something for the upsell. I went and got credit cards. I went and borrowed money. I did everything I had to do to put myself in. God had already placed me in the vicinity of the opportunity. I had to do my part to get it over the threshold. Watch this. In that first year from being in that program, I go out and 15, 20x that investment. Okay. Now, what's my point? My point is, had I had the money in my account when it was time to make that investment, I probably would have thought that I did it. Because I knew every hurdle and every obstacle I had to face to get in, he gonna always get the credit for that. So what I'm saying is that, going back to your question about being outcome oriented is control oriented. If I think every time that something that is a potential level up opportunity in my life that I'm the one that created it, then how could he be participating? He would never wish his own obsolescence. That's why people at work be stuck. Because that 3% raise and that 6% bonus and that 12% increase, God like, oh, you could do that. And from your cubicle, you could do that. Let me know when you're ready to do something that you can't do yourself. Because that's where he resides, in them areas that we ready to do something that we cannot do ourselves. He's a jealous God, right? Or am I not in the book?
You in the book.
So he don't want you taking credit for his work. So that little stuff, you go do that. You sold you sold you another one of those $17 books today? God bless you. When you're ready to sell one of them $17,000, come talk to me because you're going to need some downloads.
That's so good. This is another great question. Godly Trading said, "Where is the line between stepping? I think stepping in our faith, because it says stepping our in faith, but I'm assuming it's stepping in our faith
Stepping out.
and
I
being a
think it's
good steward.
stepping out in
Stepping
faith.
out in faith. Okay,
Yeah.
stepping out in faith and being a good steward." He said, "Where is the line between that?" That's a great question.
Yeah, it's a really good question. So here's what I believe.
I'm more like stepping in our faith. Like what?
Watch this. Watch this. He ain't gonna like this. Thank you, Holy Spirit. He ain't gonna like this. But this the first thing that came to me. Okay. Being a good steward is stepping out in faith.
I'll see you next Thursday.
Hey man, listen. I'm just sitting here as a messenger.
I'll see you next Thursday, bro. What?
Being a good steward is stepping out in faith.
My God.
That means you're stewarding over your gift. You're stewarding over the provision he's giving you. You stewarding over the opportunity in front of you. You're stewarding
Oof.
is stepping out in faith.
My God. That's so good. And to add to that,
I mean, think about this. LeBron, who was not the best player ever, by the way, God gifted him prolifically in the area of basketball.
right.
But why does he then spend $2 to $3 million a year on his body, on his nutrition, on his training, on all the things off the court? Now watch this. When he spends the $2 to $3 million a year, does that guarantee he's not going to get hurt? Does that guarantee you're going to jump higher? Does that guarantee? No guarantees. All input oriented. These are the things that I'm doing in faith, make an investment into stewarding over the gift that God gave me, not the one I gave myself. So stewardship is acting in faith.
Right. Right.
God, I appreciate so much potential that you put in me that I'm going to steward over this by going to get all the other supplements I need to make this thing really come to life. If somebody gave you a car and they show up and it's always junky, you don't never get it washed, what is that showing them?
You don't appreciate the car.
You don't appreciate the car. You don't get the oil change. Why? Because all those things cost you something.
So good.
No matter the cost, they all cost something. They cost you some time if you do it manually. It's going to cost you some money if you go get people to help you. Like, these are kingdom principles, bro. Pepper say, "You right. Yeah, I ain't like that one." I knew somebody was in trouble because the download came immediately before I opened my mouth. I said, "Oh my goodness, yeah, y'all ain't gonna like this."
And it's funny because to even add to that,
and watch this. Watch this.
Put the cherry on top. Go ahead.
What most people call stepping out in faith is gambling. What most people call stepping out in faith is gambling, bro. The real stepping out in faith is good stewardship.
I hope y'all appreciate God for creating Bryan Adamson.
I'm believing for my house. I'm stepping out here on. I'm gonna put the down payment. I'm believing for my house. I'm believing for my new car. I'm about to go to the lot. I just believe that stepping out in faith. That's gambling.
Mm.
That's covetousness. That's wanting something that you didn't do the work for. And you call that stepping out in faith. That's gambling.
This is so good. This is so good. You say that and then you just sitting in your rocking chair. Like, this is why I don't like you, bro. Like, how you gonna say that and then you just sit back in your rocking chair like, yeah, just say that.
I'm just over here trying to
you
calm myself
you
down.
you a bad man. And to even add to that, what Godly Trading said, where's the line? Preparation is prophetic.
Mm-hmm. Wait a
Preparation.
minute. Wait. Somebody put something in here. How do you know if you're gambling when you're paying for help with so many scammers? How do you know if you're gambling when you're paying for help with so many scammers? So here's the thing. Here's okay. It's a two part. This is a two-part answer. Okay. If you grown and broke, you already been scammed. Let's start with that. If you grown and broke, you already been scammed. By some construct when you was growing up, by some societal construct that you operate in every day, but that's the first, you already been scammed. College may have been the start of it. Most people already been scammed. Let's just start with that. Okay. The second part is, again, taking a risk is strategic, is faith filled, is wisdom driven, it's process oriented, it's preparation, right? So what does that mean? I spend time doing my due diligence on the people that I'm about to invest my money with.
Right.
On the other hand, was gambling. The person on the Lamborghini told me that I could have what they have in 30 days if I just pay this money. Bro, listen to me. I done spent probably $300,000-$400,000 in my personal development, right? In various mentorship, coaching, all the rest of it. I've never been scammed, bro. I don't. When people, and Cherie, I'm not picking on you, but I'm glad you asked the question. I don't know where people find these people.
Mm.
Wisdom and discernment should keep you away from a lot of this mess. And then, by the way, let's define what is scammed. You got into somebody's program, didn't do the work requisite for you, and then you didn't get the outcome. Do we then call that a scam? Right? Watch this. Last year, I paid $21,000 for this content program. It's a 4-month program. Okay. If I'm gonna keep it a buck, this person is very reputable. I'm not even gonna say their name because I don't want it to even feel like that there's anything negative of what I'm saying. But I asked them very early on in the process because I just so happened to notice that a lot of their avatars were none of them black. That don't bother me though, by the way, right? I went to college, I was 3% minority. I'm very comfortable being the only one. Okay. But my point is this. I wanted to know because this is content creation. Was all of their case studies was there something specific about them that allowed them to accomplish the goal? They said, of course not. There's work for everybody. Although they still didn't have avatar that looked like me in the process. Again, I got no problem. I just wanted to know, right? I asked questions. I can't then give you my money and then be like, oh, I should have. I just asked a question. It was, and I wanted a legitimate answer. Either way, I paid the $21,000. Well, guess what? There were points of contention and not understanding certain cultural differences as we were going through the process. All the things. I came out of it with a wealth of information. I never went viral as a result of it. But guess what? That wasn't no scam. That wasn't no scam. It was something that I attempted to do that didn't work out the way I intended, but I came out with a wealth of information and principles that do work. Right? That do work. And now when I look at content, I see it through a different lens. And I would say that it did marginally improve our content, right? But it wasn't necessarily the lever that was promised. Right? The million views. It wasn't that. Okay. For me. But I would never go and smear that person and say that that was a scam. That was just an investment that I made. That was an educated risk. That, by the way, I still feel like I got $21,000 worth of education. I just didn't get the desired outcome of 1 million views on a particular piece of content. But now I understand how the algorithm works. I understand that when you post and then put it out to like 10 people and there's like four of your current followers and 6 strangers, and then depending on the percentage of who watches for a specific amount of time, they put that then out to a larger subgroup that may be 20 to 50 people. And then after that goes to, like, I understand now how the algorithm works and what makes things go viral that go viral. I just didn't go viral. Most people be like, man, I paid $21,000. I got scammed. No, I didn't. I got educated. I got enlightened. I know something now that I didn't know before. I can help people with the knowledge that I have. By the way, we just reached 110,000 views on a TikTok post the other day, right? But my point is, we have to define what is a scam. In society, we throw that around when we don't get the results we desire and just be like, oh, I got scammed. You know what I mean? I don't, bro, I'm an abundant thinker, man. I really move in life in abundance, bro.
Hey, the fruit.
Like I'm just, I got to keep it a buck with everybody.
Fruit show.
From the time I was in the streets, I've just always bet on myself. I've always believed in more. I don't have no scarcity mindset, bro. If I see the potential of a payoff, I'm a bet on me that if you put me in that environment, I'm gonna do the things necessary to get the outcome that I desire. I just really believe that. And so I don't have like this tension of what if they don't. I ain't never worried about what they don't. I'm always worried about what I will. Most people, it's less about being scammed. It's more about they don't believe in themselves that they're gonna do the things necessary to get a result.
100%. 100%.
You know what I'm like? That's really what it is for most people. I'm not picking on you, Cherie, right? But for most people, that they don't believe in themselves. I believe in me.
Right.
I don't believe I know it all, but I believe that when you show me, I'm gonna do it all, step by step by step by step. That's why, when we was having them weekly calls in that program, it was very uncomfortable for the instructor because I'm like, hey, look, I asked you before this started. Y'all ain't had no shining avatar, and that's okay. I want to be that for you. But here's what I did, exactly what you told me. So let's talk about it. I'm Mr. Accountability. Now that I am. In any program that I invest my money in, I'm gonna make sure I understand all the rules of the game before I play it. And then after that, I'm gonna hold you accountable to those rules. But by virtue of that, I'm also gonna do every single thing you told me to do exactly how you told me to do it, because I can't come talking to you about results that I didn't get by not doing what you told me to do. They call that delusional. How can I hold you accountable to results I didn't get when I'm partially doing things the way that you showed me? So when I pay people, I fully surrender to their process. I do everything to the letter of what they told me to get the outcome. Because that way I could go back and say, hey, so I did everything exactly how you said it. This is the result. How do we fix this? But if I go and I do the things that they say that make me feel good. I do the things that they say that make me feel comfortable. I do the things that they say that make sense to me. And then the other parts, I keep doing it the way I've been doing it. And then I go back to them and say it's not working. How can I do that? So whenever I pay somebody, I gotta fully submit to what they say. One, because that's what should work, but secondly, so I could hold them accountable if it didn't. That just makes logical sense to me. Watch this. As I'm doing that, there will be things that I got to do that's uncomfortable. You know why? Because that's good coaching. It should be counterintuitive. If I already knew everything that they're telling me, then why am I even in a program? There should be things that are asked of you and told of you that should make you say, ugh. But then you do it. If everything they told you was rosy, you're in the wrong place. If your coach don't ever piss you off, you're in the wrong program. They should say something or suggest something that you do not like. And guess what? We don't like medicine, but when we take it, it makes us better.
Come on. Hey, man.
Cherie says, so being prepared with the proper questions, number one, even if something doesn't work, it may not be a scam. So need to find out the guarantee and the offer. 100%. 100%. Like one of our guarantees in our programs, if you come to every coaching call, you implement everything we tell you, and in a given time frame, you still haven't gotten a result, we guarantee that we will keep working with you until you do. But if you sometime and you pop up here and there, and every time we look, you kind of implementing what we showed you, that you can't hold me accountable to that. Like I'm not, bro, I'm not holding myself hostage to that. It's
Right.
foolishness. But if I don't guarantee outcomes in my life, I certainly can't guarantee yours. What I can guarantee is that if you do this, empirical data shows that you'll get this result. And guess what? And if you don't do this and you do it partially your way, empirical data also shows that you're not going to get the result. But it's far too many people that's sitting on a sideline waiting to not they're sitting on the sideline waiting to change their life for all the wrong reasons.
Mm.
All the wrong reasons, particularly they what if then statement is off. Just change what you put in the blanks. What if this blank, then this blank? What if this a scam, then I don't get the outcome? What if this is everything I need to then get the life that I've been wanting this whole time? People need to change their if then statement, bro.
That's good.
But
That's
one of them allows you to be a sluggard and be lazy and not take the risk and the action to get you to what you want. So you hide behind this fictitious veil of potential danger. The other one then holds you accountability to take some action toward everything you've been saying that you've been wanting, everything that you've been praying for. Which all the while is crazy. Because the whole reason why you want to do something else in the first place was to get you out of this environment that you're currently in.
right.
And so, because of the fear of the outcome you don't desire, you rather find a cool place in hell that you're currently in.
It's good. It's
As long
good.
as I don't go too far this way, too far that way, it's kind of comfortable here. I mean, it get hot, certain time of day, but I could kind of, as long as I don't go too far this way, too far that way, I could kind of stay right here in this pocket. Bro, for me, I don't understand how people call that living. Like that's bondage. Me and David taking 10 people out on a yacht to help change their life next week while living the
Man,
best life. We got a podcast studio. We gonna help them to bolster their businesses and put them in this light as the authority and have a recorded podcast in person. I mean, and call that work. That's our work for Friday and Saturday.
that's beautiful work. I'll tell you that.
Pull up an 85-foot yacht and get off at American Social and have lunch and split the groups up, and one of them be with me for lunch and the other one be with David for dinner, and that's our work for Friday and Saturday.
That's beautiful.
Staying at one of my favorite hotels on the planet, which I won't disclose here because then it won't be my favorite if all y'all start showing up. Probably,
Right.
I like going there
Right.
because
You
it's
can
out
tell
the
you can
way.
tell me off the
Like,
clock. You can tell me off the
yeah,
clock.
yeah.
Yeah.
But get to share that though, right? With some people to show them like, and by the way, that hotel was introduced to me in 2016 when I paid 40,000 and joined that program. I knew nothing about this place until then. And ever since then, me and my wife go there at least 3 times a year. It's like our staycation within the state that we go to. And yeah, man, like that's living.
and just to
When you can design your work and your play.
right,
To where when your work looks like play,
right.
because sometimes it is.
That's good.
I was just with David Sunday. He was in town uh, at the Ritz as always. He was in town for WebinarCon. I went and picked him up from the Ritz. We went and had lunch, dropped him off. He got on the plane yesterday, flew out to Cali for a speaking engagement. Like that's his work week. So that's why I say if you grown and broke, you've been scammed. Unfortunately. The biggest scam is thinking you haven't been already.
Mm. That's good. That's good.
I'll end with this, bro. The part that we fail to realize, whether it's the 21,000 on the content that I never got the million views, whether it's the $500,000 loss in real estate, whether it's the $250,000 loss in the marketing, whether it's all the $1 million that I've made. The common thread amongst all of that is that all of it was requisite in me becoming the person that could allow God to trust me with more capacity, more influence, more impact, more income. I need all of it. I need the successes and the failures. Little bubble playing it safe. It's not just the opportunity you miss out on. You're not in an incubator of growth. And if you can't become more, then he can't give you more. That's why he blesses all of us according to our ability. If I want more, I have to become more so that I can do more to have more. So the question is for everybody, what's the number one input that you need to do right now to start helping you become more? And whatever that is, don't focus on nothing else until you do that input. Count it all joy when you go through various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. It's in the book. Bro, we read the Bible so conveniently, it's crazy to me. the way we not exegete the Texas, exegesis the Texas. I mean the Texas, Jesus Christ. The way that we that's crazy. Exegesis to Texas is crazy. But the way in which we try to manipulate and curtail scripture to fit our narrative, as opposed to just letting the truth stand on its own and us conform to it, is crazy.
Right.
You ain't gonna win like that. You know why? Because his mind was made up when he finished it.
Come on.
He
That's
didn't ask
good.
for no more ideas.
That's good.
So anyway, I know you got to get out the door. I got to
Now
get
you
ready.
good.
I got I
I'll
got
end
I
on
got a
this
coach. I got a coaching call with our mastermind here at 12. Somebody get prepared for that.
for
And
sure. I'm gonna put my cherry on top and then I'll get out of here.
okay, let's do it.
Um, when you was talking about your what if then statement,
Mm-hmm.
too many people pray life over themselves and not speak it. So you pray for God to bless you, you pray for the increase, but all you saying to yourself is that it's not going to happen, or what if this don't work, or what it says life and death is in the power of the tongue. It didn't say life and death is not only in the power of prayer, in the power of your tongue. So you too busy praying life over yourself and wondering why it's not happening. It's like, how do you talk to yourself every day? You're created in God's image, you're God's masterpiece, you're whom he loves and is with and pleased with before you even performed. And now when it's time for things to happen, you don't speak no life into yourself. Somebody asked me what was something you wish you got growing up. I was like, I wish somebody spoke life into me instead of just praying it over me. You pray for God to bless me. Then when I tell you what I'm going through, you like, why are you going through that? Why is life like that for you? What you didn't figure this out yet? I'm like, okay. So, but that's my cherry on top. I
My
digress.
goodness. My
Yeah,
goodness. My goodness, bro. Well,
yeah,
did we get all the questions?
man, we got all of them and more.
All right. If you got on late, you want to go rewatch this one early, I can promise you that. Be excellent, have more, become more, live more, enjoy more, and we will see y'all with more